Kutam Ilunu Zuamid. Welcome one and all to the off-smelling fluff that you find in the belly button of life fort that we all call Hammerlock. We begin today watching the barricaded nails and hazy attics training together in the open-air sparring ground at the top of the barracks tower. They are preparing, of course, for the retribution I'm sure will be coming from Goroth, the mouse devil that we fed some of our dwarves to last episode. At least 2 of those individuals are new replacements, and I want them as trained up as they can be before the goblins arrive. At least I'm hoping it'll just be goblins. I'm under no illusions that our little military could repel Goroth themselves, but equally I'm sure his mouseness will have more important things to do than to trek across all of Destiny just to squash us for the crime of letting him murder some of us. Sound the alarm! Oh, no, wait, it's just the humans. God, the suspense is killing me. It's Speski Lasivonek, which translates to tulip locks. So named because his hair is one of the few colours that tulips aren't. He's another very dwarfish-looking human, though, just like that fen-sauced fellow. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Ervad has been adding dwarven beard tonic to the prepared meals. Keep an eye out for any bearded female humans, that'll be the true test. Oh, come on, get yourselves into the fortress, do. Don't you know there might be a mouse coming? That's it, on the road. Through the trade tunnel, and unload. Minkot is already harrying the others. We should have pots stuffed to the brim with delicious, fresh, probably not lethally dosed prepared meals. At the least, they'll definitely add hair to your everywhere. The coolest penguin, Snowdub, has come, and we'll watch as he... Oh, Snod, damn it! Well, we all knew it was coming. The good news is that so far I haven't seen Goroth. It did say it was a giant mouse twisted into human form, right? I'd hate to think we had a Scrappy-Doo situation on our hands. Yes, giant. Good. So, no mouse devil, but more than enough goblins, and they seem to be spreading out. The squads are coming now. Oh dear, we'll have to apologize to Durr about the mess. She's got a corpse garden outside her cottage now, and her path will be... Oh, yes, get them, dwarves! Still seeing some cavern sickness? Following Mr. Murky Thief, good grief, as his brethren are stripped from the trees. It seems the war dogs have him cornered. Now following Mrs. Hateslick, there she runs around with her child-snatching sack, trying not to be murdered. Which is going to go very badly for her, because I've just sent both squads the kill order for her specifically. They are, of course, taking their time, but where would we be if dwarves actually performed tasks when they were asked? Some sort of edge planet, a celestial body on the lip. Gaia Terminus. Oh, good, she escaped. Well, that certainly could have gone worse. I mean, the hills are strewn with goblin corpses, and our path up to the hollow hill is flooded with dog vomit. But all in all, things definitely could have been worse. Of course, now we have a siege problem that can't be fixed unless we destroy a site guarded by a being that can snap our dwarves like dry twigs. Don't you just love the consequences of your own actions? Sure would be nice to have an all-powerful deity with forethought. Ah, one step at a time. We should probably get our defences up to snuff. Don't worry, I'll work on it in the background. Wouldn't make you watch somebody actually having to manhandle the UI. Why don't I use DF hack again? Oh, that's right. A false sense of self-righteous pride. Me, I'm a chore. Oh no, Led's managed to get injured. Not sure if this was during the fight or after, and for some reason I didn't deign to check the health tab in the recording. Well, I'll be damned if I'm going to check now, so let's just say she sneezed wrong and caused some internal bleeding. Which is much more possible than you'd think. I do hope she makes a full recovery. She's one of our named elite dwarves. I believe she made a table once. Her lover is Doren, one of our barricaded nails and one of 3 Dorens in the fort, though the only male. She must like them sweaty and never there. Oh good, she's up and about. Well, whatever malady she had clearly was too weak to keep down a dwarf. Lucky, really, as most of our doctors, to stretch the word, are in the military. So, yes, it's planning in almost every facet that I'm bad at. That's fun. Doran's ridiculously long name has turned one of Led's personality points into a statement that makes the point more true. She is slow to anger, and it figures because she was kicked in the head by a pig as a baby. She's slow to everything. Here you can see a list of all the children in Hammerlock. 7 of them in total. They range in years from a couple to around a dozen, and they all have one thing in common. They're more than capable of getting some work done. You'll remember last episode I tried to get them all in the camouflaged college library. Well, this is take 2. We give them some work experience so they won't think spending time at school is so bad. Should probably disallow feeding patients and prisoners, though. Don't want them getting in with the wrong crowd with the latter, and the former, well, I can't imagine anything worse when your insides are out than a toddler trying to shove mushrooms up your nose. Starting with Tekard, the eyebrow whisperer. I've just recently allowed logs to be stored in our overflow stockpile, so I think most of the kids will be carting lumber around. That might seem unfair to the younger ones, as logs are all of one uniform weight and size, but even baby dwarves are capable of lifting many times their own body weight. Like ants. Yes, there we go. Get that log down in the pile and then grab yourself another. No, you don't. Ah, good. Bloody playing make-believe on my time, I don't think so. Ah, yes. Children working as they're meant to. Do you know, I missed this. Ever since poor Cubuck, I've been loath to let our fortress's little darlings anywhere near anything more dangerous than a spoon. But what was I worrying about? Tekard even seems to be enjoying it. Or, well, enjoying needing to wear clothes anyway. Oh dear, there is that, though. The children have spent their entire lives inside the Lesser's fort, never once facing the horror of a beautiful summer's day sun. That's it, Tekard. Best to get it all out. It won't help with the dizziness or the nausea, but at least you won't track it all through the fort like most of the adults do. Or like you're doing. Ugh. Well, at least you got the log away. Following Adil now, and he's perfectly healthy. See, that's solid dwarven constitution for you. And he's younger than Miss Bridgeflicker, so it must be because what she flicks, he eats. By which I mean he eats his own. He's not stood down range, as it were. Good me, couldn't imagine a constitution that strong. But anyway, he's hauling, and that's all we can ask. Then there's little Mebzath, 1 year old, and he's really not enjoying himself. Not very surprising. He may be strong, but hauling that log is still no mean feat. Keep your chin up, Master Ocean Armor, and your back straight. Lift with your knees. I'm sure he'll get it. Good work, little ones. Now then, I've let a little time pass. The children have all been working hard, so I think it's time to reintroduce a little structured learning. Just following Cadol, the other 1-year-old in the fort. We just witnessed him attending a meeting that he asked for with Moldeath. It didn't last very long because Cadol can't speak yet. I'm sure there was some pretty furious hand signalling going on though. Moldeath certainly seemed desperate to get away. Now he's off to store an item, after which, with any luck, he will make his way to the Camouflage College library, and we can put this nonsense behind us. Yes, come on, Cadol. Good me, our entrance is busy, isn't it? There. Ah. Slight issue then. So, what's happening here is I thought ahead a little. Very little, it would turn out, and decided we didn't want the children starving, so I added the tavern to the burrows, and some of the kids have decided to stay in there. Oh, but Uvash here does seem to be making their way up. Yes, here we go. So there's only Uvash right now, but this does at least act as proof of concept. Oh yay, and Adil is here too. She made that chalk bracelet, if you'll remember. A feat for which the older dwarves decided to bestow the title of Legendary Stonecrafter. I can only imagine out of kindness, because the piece would crumble if you tried to pick it up. Now, neither of them are doing anything but playing, but it's better than what this lot is doing. I don't know. Give a choice between a good book and a mug of ale, it's not even a competition. Well, you know, except for the drinking competitions. A benefit there to being a baby, you're already under the table. Aha, here's something completely unrelated to babies. Olin has gone into a strange mood. A clothier by trade, Olin earned her place in the Hollow Hill by, well, to be honest, I can't recall. She's a legendary clothier, so that would hint at her having already made an artifact, but not at Hammerlock as far as I can remember. Her being a legendary clothier does get me a tiny bit excited, though. We've been purchasing all kinds of leathers and cloth, not to mention large gems, precious metals. Oh, the choice she'll have is unparalleled. And then we see her hauling mudstone. Just when I let myself get the tiniest bit hopeful, these dwarves sure do know how to bring me back down. Well, let's let her work. The thing I made to replace the vacuum cleaner after the last one disappeared into a street painting beast, Zan Losus Odor, has come. Dust deep. Certainly is now. You think it's bad keeping on top of regular dead skin cells? Wait till you're dealing with the cement created from a pile of rocks the weight of a car, crushing its own gravel trails with every step. Oh, and Snod's shedding. You see him and you think, okay, so it's just like an octopus. And yes, it is. You just try keeping a mollusk dry for extended periods of time. Honestly, the shedding. Every day is Christmas here, just don't touch the snow. Anyway, hopefully Zan will instinctively clear up the last of that salamander's dust. Do without experiencing that again. Oh, and Olin is done. A cave spider silk mask she's called Teshkadral Nol Shaget. Price silvers the tongue of horns. Oh, now this is special. Firstly, it's a piece that commemorates the creation of granite clobbers in year 1, something I had 0 hand in making past the literal mountain it sits on. Then there's the image of oval cut gems in shale, Oh, that's truly inspired because you see, we have cut gems in many a shape, probably even oval. So she decided to specifically make them out of a less precious material for some reason. Then there's the dog bone, in case the rocks stuck to it weren't weird enough. Nobody will be surprised to note it isn't worth anything in artifact terms, and on top of all that, it's got a name that makes it sound like it wouldn't look out of place in any kind of dungeon you can imagine. Yes, even the ones you could imagine. Now where on Destiny am I going to find a rock big enough to hide this under, do you think? Oh joy, Bumis is back. You know, I set those cage traps out to catch her and she slipped the lot of them. Don't know if I shouldn't just stick all the goblinite into a pile and surround it in traps. But then again, I'm not sure what I plan to do with her once I've caught her. We can't kill her now, she's practically a mascot since Ignore disappeared. Heading back to the fortress after Bumis left, I noticed Dur was wandering the hills and she seemed to be sweating an awful lot. Now, this in itself is nothing too unusual. She's an old woman, and the habit of being the hauler for Hammerlock seems to be dying hard. But something about her hands just caused me pause. What I found then made me actually pause, because I had to show you lot. Look at what she's wearing. Now, yes, it's early autumn, but we never get so cold as to need all this. She's wearing a pair of mittens over a pair of gloves. Couple that with the headscarf over a cloak, over a toga and skirt, it's safe to say menopause has definitely set in. That, or Dur is secretly a forgotten beast made of soup and she's saving herself from becoming unpalatable. Hello, Meng. Long time no focus on for entertainment value. You come at a wonderful time. That is to say, you come at the same time as you always do, and we just so happen to be prepared. Ervad has been slaving away over a frankly horrifyingly dirty kitchen for months, I think. Do seem to be low on prepared meals, actually. But I'm sure we still have enough for trade. You will of course want to speak to Moldath. Do be sure to tell us we fought off a siege from Doomface. Oh, something's happened. One of the Caravan guards has gotten into a fight and his nose has been reduced to gore. Oh no, it's the slight Decline Devil, taking another name in its reign of terror. Yes, here's the fellow. Ass. I'm sure he certainly feels like one. No, watch your step. My me, he actually hesitated on it. Did you see? Ha ha! You just can't write this stuff, I tell you. Enjoy your time at Hammerlock, Mr. Blot Towns. If anybody asks, just say there was 4 of them, and they came at you from below. On to fort matters. Remember I mentioned I would be reinforcing our defences. Well, this is the start. We shan't be having more goblins using the trees to drop in. Not these trees, anyway. For, as Betha will be ecstatic to see, we've cleared a swathe to either side and stopped them ever growing back. It's still not perfect. I'm considering raising the whole thing up a few levels and having a wall here. But there's always going to be the canal, and it's never going to be more than 1 deep. I swear, after Hammerlock, I'll be investing in a new divination staff. Mine just hasn't been the same since Martin left. But anyway, here it is in all its glory, as seen from above. And as we focus down, you can see that there's a few places where an ingenious little green sod might grasp enough handholds to make themselves a nuisance. But this is just the start, as I said. The next step will be to create a nice, thick, tall wall with room for crossbow dwarves to walk 2 abreast along the top, just between the hollow hill and Dur's cottage. I'm planning a tower at the end, attached to another wall, which will head back to the old bridge, which will either be kept for posterity or removed to make way for something better. Pretty much whatever I feel like at the time. And what will go in the tower, I hear you ask? Why, Hammerlock's first dungeon. No, not that kind, for me's sake. On to more fortress news, and you may have noticed already that the squads are no longer holed up in the barracks tower. This is because we need all hands to move things from somewhere they're not supposed to be over to wherever it is they are supposed to be. Hauling has become a real chore, and I mean that literally, because I've got the kids back out of the library, the tavern, and moving their little behinds whilst leaving nothing behind. Why, I hear you ask? Or most of you anyway. See me after the video, you know who you are. Well, I got fed up of our small food stockpile being forever filled with things we can't actually eat, and remembered the dwarves can dig through stone. So we have the big food stockpile now. And if you're wondering what this bronze-floored room over here is, well, I wanted it to be a surprise, but it's not working out, so I'll just tell you now. It's Ervad's teaching kitchen. It turns out we really were short on prepared meals when the traders came, and that probably has something to do with us only having one cook in a fort of 75 dwarves. Yes, not great planning, but hello, I'm Phlegm. Have we met? So I set this up, but all the hauling tasks have led to nobody having time to build the extra kitchens, so I figured why not just go all in. I have regrets, but that's what life's all about. Forcing your little minions to work their hands to stubs, even the children, and dealing with the inevitable tantrum spiral later. I'm being a little dramatic. Things seem to be quite serene in Hammerlock at the moment. We've even got some singing in the sweetness of racks, and I'd be listening in, but I've filled my quota of making an idiot of myself for a little while yet. Oh, and the small stockpile has been completely removed. Now we have room for more workshops. Me knows what, or actually this time I don't. We've already got a screw press, and that's something I've never made before. With things winding down, I thought we'd check in on our old friend Avaz. He's taking some time off from the hauling and relaxing in the sweetness of racks without a care in the world. I know I mentioned this before, but his turnaround really does fill my heart with asses. Another bloody siege! 2 in 1 year! Oh, this will never do! Well, snod it. We're going to follow Miss Routflies in because I still haven't settled on a great way to cover these things. Making their way down the hill, and there's one dwarf, which she's decided to face in hand-to-hand combat whilst wielding a crossbow. Now she's dead as a second dwarf joins the fray. Some more have piled in and things are starting to get messy, still bolts flying everywhere. Following Carol of the barricaded nails as he runs around the base of the tree the goblins have all climbed into. A tactical retreat whilst he remembers to climb a tree, just like he was a few seconds ago. Very disappointing, Mr. Blowsack. Oh dear, that's Vukar, one of our crossbow dwarves in the Sacks of Amazing. He's decided to fight 6 goblins with nothing but his hood and a crossbow that's devoid of bolts. Everybody wave goodbye to Vukar. Oh wait, the nails are here. And they've scattered and Vukar is nowhere to be seen. Ah, here he is. Apparently he's following the station order, but seeing as that was back on the walls above the pasture, well, let's watch what he does. He seems to be wanting to get back into the fight. Yes, look, he joined the melee to give that downed goblin a kicking. And now he's stumbling around the hillside vomiting. Right, that's probably enough of that. We've taken the fortress off high alert, and now Vukar is making the enlightened decision to lie in a pool of his own blood and wait for rescue. Something our barricaded nails leader Erash is more than happy to do. Now she's stripped down to her underwear. Yes, I'll never understand why she enjoys being practically naked all the time, but I've long since stopped questioning it. As for Vukar, well, his injuries are impressive in their number and severity, but I'm sure somebody will be along to scrub them with soap made from livestock before long. And now it's time to watch Cogsack walk past who knows how much blood, gore and vomit, to go clean a very specific tiny splatter from behind a tree that nobody could have possibly seen. And if that doesn't scream, I secretly murdered somebody during all the hubbub, I don't know what does. With that, it's time to wrap things up for another episode. This, whilst being number 16 in the Hammerlock series, is actually the 50th entry to the whole Crumpet Sounds catalogue. Now, some of those things are shorts and some are Snod's creations, but if we don't celebrate the arbitrary milestones, who will? So yes, congratulations to us. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, just for that. Anyway, it's been a pleasure as always. Do make sure to look after yourselves, and we'll see you again next time. Anu Zeshon, you most wonderful of individuals. Anu Zeshon. Now, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. This is a clean, family-friendly, fun place to be, and it's not made better by dirty jokes. You need to control yourself. Do you understand? Yes, Mr. Crevice. Now apologize to the lovely people. I'm sorry, lovely people?